All right, so let's talk about Aanchal Malhotra's Remnants of a Separation. This book doesn't need much of an introduction. It became quite popular when it came out, and also because it's pretty much all that it promises to be on its cover, which is a history of the partition through material memory. It's a collection of 21 essays documenting the stories of people that were displaced during partition and the things they carried with them. The writer has captured stories of people across India, Pakistan, and even London. If these were items placed one next to the other, nothing would be significant about them. It's the memories and stories associated with these objects that make them worth preserving. There are precious jewels, mang tika, pearls, there's even pashmina shawl, and then there are everyday objects, kitchenware, household items, and some photographs. Growing up, how I viewed the partition was bereft of any real suffering. It was just numbers, just incidents, a strategic decision that, just happened. We knew why it happened and how it happened. But it was much later, through my own readings and curiosity, that I learned what that scale of displacement actually meant. It was Ramchandra Guha's India After Gandhi that humanized the partition for me. I've been to the Partition Museum in Delhi, which assigns identity to the voices of these people that migrated. We've heard those voices, but we don't know the people behind them. And while each story is unique, there is that similarity that runs through all. It's almost a pattern of involuntary displacement, facing some sort of a violence, and that yearning that has stayed to return to the motherland. And you'll see this pattern in the stories of the people mentioned in Remnants of a Separation as well. Many of the people Archel approached hadn't spoken about the incident in years. And I believe that was intentional. They wanted to suppress those memories because there's nothing pleasant about those memories. So when she went to interview them and coax them to share their memories around the tangibles that they had carried, that's when they began to open up. And they were opening up sometimes for the very first time to their family members and relatives. You also find out why people carried what they did, why they decided to leave some other things behind, and why they chose this particular object that they are talking about. And most often, you realize that it wasn't out of choice, but practicality or functionality of the object that they carried. And sometimes it was just a mere chance that got them to get the object. In some stories, the narrative flows quite organically. In others, it seems a bit forced. The writing captures the awkwardness and discomfort that would have come from sharing these deeply personal stories with a complete stranger, but it's in these moments that the book derails. So by the time I reached the halfway mark, I was starting to lose interest. My interest had dwindled quite a bit because there seemed to be those patterns appearing again. There was no newness in the stories. It didn't matter who the person sharing the story was, it was just the same story. And that's when I wondered if the format chosen by the author was the best decision. Maybe we didn't need 21 essays. Each is an elaboration on a person and the item that they chose to carry. So, probably these items could have been clubbed, and the stories of the people associated with each could have been told together, maybe enmeshed together. I don't mean to say that the people in these stories are not important. Barring those who were privileged, the book tells stories of grueling struggle, of having lost loved ones, of witnessing crude violence. These stories must be heard. There needs to be a space for these. I'm only saying that perhaps this particular book wasn't the ideal vehicle if the primary focus was to be the objects and the stories behind them. Do I sound like a hypocrite? At around 400 pages, I found the book to lack the substance to carry it through. But I very much enjoyed the first 100, pages. And I'm glad that Archel chose this lens to view the underreported, understudy partition, or Batwara as she calls it in the beginning. And that's my humble submission on this book. I'll leave you with this quote that comes even before the preface or introduction. And it goes like this: the very weight of the word, the way it sounds as I say it out aloud with clarity and care, has been subconsciously ingrained in me. How I use it with an almost extreme fragility, considering at all times the entire concept of a cultural identity enveloped within a single event, a single line, a single word: partition. This book is a modest attempt to unravel that word, if such a thing is even possible. That's beautiful.